So Mario Kart World is, of course, the flagship title for the Nintendo Switch 2, and I mean, that makes perfect sense to me. It has mass appeal. Anyone can pick up and play Mario Kart World and a Mario Kart game in general and probably do okayish at the very least. Of course, the best-selling game on the Nintendo Switch 1 was a port of Mario Kart 8 from the Wii U with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's one of the best-selling games of all time, so it makes sense that Nintendo would want to capitalize on the success of Mario Kart when you're launching a new system with a new Mario Kart game. The money practically prints itself, and Mario Kart has always been a very beloved franchise that has always remained pretty similar throughout. Yes, you've gotten things like better graphics and small deviations here and there within the gameplay, but the core game itself has always been essentially the same. The traditional kart racer that really Super Mario Kart was one of the first to really come out with. You do your 3 laps around a track, and then, hey, whoever's in first place is the winner and the master of the track. But Mario Kart World tries to embrace modernity with this new entry and really changes a lot of things up, which some people haven't really been enjoying. There's definitely more of a sense of exploration, freedom, which is cool, but when you're actually trying to race against people, it definitely changes how the game feels, essentially changing the courses and how everything has been interpreted for the franchise since its inception. And with a recent update that just came out for Mario Kart World, a lot of fans are pissed off because now one of the elements of the game is essentially being forced upon them by Nintendo, and there's no escaping it. So I want to talk about this, kind of what is happening with this, why people are upset about it, and then kind of see if there is some sort of light at the end of the tunnel where Nintendo could do something to make it so that everyone who plays Mario Kart is indeed a happy camper. So one of the biggest things about Mario Kart World, like I said, are kind of the more open elements of the game. You obviously have a free roam mode when you are playing in single player, or if you want to play with some friends where you can drive around the entire map. The entire map is interconnected with all of the courses being represented on the map itself. So if you want to drive to a certain circuit, you can just go and drive there. Now, of course, with that being said, they've added in something called intermissions into the courses and how these courses essentially work. And a lot of times what will happen is you'll have a traditional circuit that you would be used to that from previous games. You'll do 1 lap around the circuit, and then that's it. You're then moving towards the intermissions and going to a different section of the map, not really allowing you to hone your skills and be kind of a traditional Mario Kart game in which you go around the laps 3 times, and then whoever is in first place is indeed the winner and I guess the master of the map. Now, personally, I actually enjoy this deviation. I like the intermission stuff. I like driving from location to location because I think it makes the game feel a bit bigger. But I understand that if you're a die-hard Mario Kart fanatic, that kind of change can be something that is, pretty shocking to you. When it comes to online racing, there was something where essentially when you're doing just the traditional races and not something like Knockout Tour, you could pick random courses. And if you pick a random course and a random course is selected, then that random course would always be a 3-lap circuit of whatever racetrack it decides to do, thus having that traditional feeling. So instead of picking the level that is put on the screen for you, the 3 different options, you could pick random, and then it would be a random selection that would be a 3-lap race. So you had options. You had options to whether or not you would have to do things like intermissions and stuff like that, kind of in a roundabout way. Well, last night, Nintendo changed that. They said it was kind of a bug or something along those lines. And now when you pick a random course, guess what? The intermissions are now in there, meaning that there's really no way to do a 3-lap race online as it stands right now unless you just get really lucky. And a lot of people are not happy about this, even people who are genuinely people that are like happy people. Look at Nathaniel Bandy here. This guy has to be one of the most cheerful individuals that I know. For some reason, he follows me and talks to me. A very nice person. He was trying to help me out with Switch 2 stuff as well when I was having trouble getting a pre-order system. It's someone who should hate me. Someone who should essentially hate me, but he likes me because I guess his heart is just full of love. But he says, you need to reverse this change, Nintendo of America. People do not want intermissions shoved down their throats. There should be 2 different online modes dedicated to only intermission tracks and only traditional 3 laps. Honestly, I think I'm kind of done playing online unless they update this again. What a change, guys. Jesus. And then you could kind of see here, this is the initial tweet that is being talked about. You see, most people are picking random because a lot of people do want the traditional 3-lap stuff instead of just having to do intermissions. And now we're having to do the intermissions. As you can see here, we're driving from one location to another, thus negating the traditional 3-lap race. And the fact that there's not an option for this is very strange to me. And it kind of goes to show you, like, Nintendo is a very stubborn company. If they want you to play games in a certain way, they want you to experience a game in a certain way, and that way is the way that they designed it. And if there was some, oversight with something like that to where, you would always get a 3-course or a 3-lap course by choosing random and stuff like that, that's not the way they intended you to play the game. That's not what they want the focus of the game to be. Now, of course, they could always come along and update the game, I guess, possibly revert back to how it is. I just don't see them doing that. Because Nintendo is a very stubborn company. You have to remember, there are people buying a Nintendo Switch 2 right now who cannot purchase Super Mario 3D All-Stars, a collection of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy 1. Right now, the only way to play 2 of those 3 games on the Switch 2 is to have this collection. And this collection does feature some quality of life improvements over the original releases of this. Nintendo would rather you buy this game on the third-party marketplace and spend $100 or $90, whatever it's going for now, than put the game up on the eShop again, allowing them to make money. Like, that's how stubborn they are. They're essentially saying, you know what? We can make money on this, but I don't really want to. It goes against the principle. The principle was supposed to be, this is a limited release. You had to buy it right then and there, and if you didn't, you can go to hell or pay exorbitant prices for the game. And, I don't know. I don't see them reverting this change. I don't see them, changing anything with this in the intermittent future to sort of have it so that there is a choice. Now, in the extended future, once we start getting additional content for the game and new things being added from new courses to new characters and stuff like that, yes, I do think that there is a chance that they could add a new online mode that's sort of a traditional mode that would allow you to do these races in a 3-lap manner. But even then, I'm a little bit hesitant, just because if you look at how the intermissions, how the open world is essentially built into the DNA of this game, it is a main focal point of this game. The entire game is pretty much built around this premise as being, the expansion of Mario Kart. It's almost like them going back and adding in traditional dungeons into Breath of the Wild or something like that. Maybe not quite on that same scale, but I think the mentality is in similar line to it. And I don't know, man. I don't know. If people are pissed off about this, I can definitely understand it. But I'm someone who really likes knockout mode. That's what I play online. I'm level 7,300 or 7,400 on knockout mode. Give me that, because it's different. It's fun, and it feels unique to me. But I guess getting rid of an option isn't really a good thing either, and it sets a kind of unhealthy precedent for things going forward, because it's something that Nintendo could obviously change if they cared about fan feedback. But do they really care all that much? The company that got rid of Super Mario 3D All-Stars, I'm never going to let that go. I'm never going to let that go because people said it was a good idea to make it limited. People said it was a good idea to have the game only be released for a limited time. And that's the stupidest thing in the world. That is the stupidest thing in the world. And every Nintendo fan who capped for that and agreed with that was a good idea, you should look at yourself in the mirror and imagine any other game, any other company, any other studio doing something like this and removing the option to purchase it digitally. I could talk about that all day, but we're talking about Mario Kart World. Nintendo, you have pissed off Nathaniel Bandy, a happy man. Someone who's not a negative Nancy online. Someone who's not a curmudgeon like me. A happy young man who just loves Nintendo games and loves talking about them. Doug Bowser, how do you sleep at night? I hope you see Nathaniel Bandy's tweet. And I'm sure your social media people do, because Nintendo has people combing social media all the time. I hope this keeps you up at night. I hope you have a bad night's sleep tonight, Doug Bowser, because I'm probably going to have a bad night's sleep. The other night, I couldn't even go to sleep. I was up till like noon, and then I slept till 5. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. Anyways, guys, what do you think about the Mario Kart World situation? Is this a small segment of people that are being outraged over this? I don't really think it is. It's all over social media. It's all over Reddit. And obviously, there are a large group of people that are not happy with the changes being forced in Mario Kart World. How do you feel about it? Is this something that's impacting you? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you made it all the way to the end, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like the video or dislike the video. I don't really care. Just interact with it somehow. That does help things out. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.